My girlfriend announced, "I want an open relationship or the marriage is cancelled." I responded smoothly, "All right, let's go for it." Then I instantly arranged 3 dates with her acquaintances and showcased my sudden liberty. She was stunned and pleaded to end the whole situation. I, 32M, am, or rather used to be, engaged to Chloe, 30F. We've been a couple for 5 years, engaged for 1. Wedding preparations were underway. Location secured, payments made, everything planned. All seemed well, or so it appeared. Last Tuesday, Chloe called me over. She appeared serious, which isn't rare for her when it's something big. But the mood felt wrong. Look, she started toying with a napkin. "I've been reconsidering everything about us, about my needs." I listened. My thoughts ran wild. Cold feet? Family trouble? I want more, she finally admitted. More chances, more autonomy. Before settling down, I need an open relationship. If not, then I doubt I can proceed with the marriage. Quiet. My thoughts just froze briefly. An open relationship. Now, half a year before the ceremony, I just stared. She had that face like she was bracing for yelling or maybe expecting begging. Instead, I inhaled, a really slow breath. "All right," I answered just like that. "All right, Chloe, if that's your need, then let's go for it. Open relationship it is." Her jaw literally sagged. I could notice the gears turning behind her stare. This was not the answer she foresaw. Not at all. "Wait, what?" She mumbled. You're fine with this?" "Well, you stated it's this, or the marriage is cancelled," I returned, keeping steady. "I don't want the wedding cancelled just because you feel caged or unsatisfied. So, yes, open relationship. We should likely create some clear boundaries, correct?" She just sat stunned. Yeah, boundaries." Okay. But she hadn't planned beyond that. I realized this was meant to be her control card, her method to push her wants by risking the wedding, thinking I'd fold. She didn't see me flipping the script so easily. "Perfect," I replied, standing up. "Let's sleep on it, and we'll discuss terms tomorrow. I'm heading out for a bit. Need fresh air." And I walked out, leaving her gaping like a stunned salmon. The instant I shut the door, the cool I showed began to falter. It ached terribly. 5 years and now this, a demand. But if that's what she requested, if this was her challenge or whatever manipulation she attempted, then fine, game activated. First update. Following through. 1 week earlier. So, after Chloe's bomb about requiring an open relationship or no wedding and my quick approval, events turned interesting. The following morning, Chloe was still off, like she didn't believe I wasn't complaining or pleading to rethink. She tried bringing up rules, but only said vague stuff like respect and honesty, common, but clearly hadn't planned beyond what she wanted. I listened, nodded, and accepted her super loose guidelines. No schedules. Admit if asked. Always use safety. Basic agreements. She assumed that asking meant she'd be the only one acting on it. Or at least starting it first, and excitedly. Haha. Now comes the twist or disaster based on your take. My view. She built the rules. I'm just playing accordingly. I remember conversations well. Through time, Chloe's casually told me which of her friends had liked me or made remarks. Not with jealousy, more like, "Can you believe Maya said your arms are nice?" I saved those bits. So, Wednesday night after our talk on rules, I did some messaging. Maya, 29, Chloe's college buddy, always cheerful, always chatty. I messaged her simply. "Hey Maya, random thing. You free Friday night? Chloe and I are trying this open arrangement, and I figured I'd ask if you'd like a drink." Her message came quick. "Wait, for real? Chloe's doing this, and OMG, yes, I'm free." Then Sophie, 31. Chloe's office mate, more quiet, but we've always joked around at group stuff. My note to her. "Hey Sophie. Hope your week's good. Chloe and I decided to try an open setup for now. Wondering if you'd be up for dinner on Saturday?" Sophie's message came in about an hour. "That's shocking from Chloe. You're serious? But sure, dinner sounds fun. I'm down." Last, Isabel, 30, her oldest close friend. This was the riskiest since Isabel is super direct. My text, Isabel, been ages. Quick update. Chloe and I are starting an open thing. You free for coffee or drinks next week? Isabel phoned me. What the actual hell? Chloe wanted an open setup. Is she nuts and you're inviting me? She made the rules. Isabel, I replied calmly. I'm just checking who's curious for a simple no-pressure drink or coffee. Her idea, her conditions. Isabel paused briefly. Then she laughed. A loud, real laugh. You clever devil. All right, I'm unsure if I'm stunned or impressed or both. Let me mull it over, but wow. Message me next week. Spoiler, she agreed to a maybe drink for Tuesday. So, 3 outings set with her acquaintances. I did not inform Chloe instantly. I just let her notice me on my device a little extra, smirking subtly. She kept throwing curious glances. On Thursday night, I casually mentioned, oh, by the way, I have a few things planned this weekend. Just giving you a heads up. Things? She asked with an odd tone in her speech. What sort of things? Just going out for drinks with Maya Friday night. Supper with Sophie on Saturday and probably coffee with Isabel next week. I said it like I was talking about the forecast. Her face went pale. My acquaintances. You invited my acquaintances. Yes, I responded. Is that an issue? We're open. Remember your condition? She fumbled. But I did not mean I did not think you actually would with them. Why not? I questioned, honestly curious now. They're charming, engaging individuals, and they were available. She simply gawked at me, mouth opening then shutting. The privilege was pouring off her heavily. She obviously believed this open setup was a one-sided deal, a free ride for her while I was supposed to stay home grieving and heartbroken. Her shock was, well, memorable. Second update. The retreat starts. 3 days earlier. Well, events progressed predictably. After I let Chloe know about my approaching outings with Maya, Sophie, and Isabel, she snapped. Not in a yelling, throwing stuff kind of way. That's not really how she acts, but in a panicked, this is not what I envisioned way. You cannot proceed, she insisted, voice trembling with tightly held panic. Why not, Chloe? I asked, keeping my voice very calm. You proposed an open relationship. These are the basics of such a relationship. Or were you imagining something else? One where only you get to enjoy freedom. She winced. No, that is not it. It's only my acquaintances. It's inappropriate. Inappropriate to whom? I asked. To you because I took your words seriously or to them? They all agreed, just so you know. Seemed pretty pleased too. Actually, that comment really unsettled her. I saw it instantly. Over the next day, I got slammed with her texts and calls. We need to talk. This is not what I imagined. You're intentionally hurting me. You must stop those plans. I generally responded with forms of, Chloe, you were very direct. Open relationship or no wedding. I accepted the open route. Are you now suggesting canceling the marriage? That usually shut her down briefly. The possibility that I might end things over her ultimatum visibly rattled her, but not enough for her to fully confess she misjudged things badly. Then came the supporters. First, her sibling Liam, 33, phoned me. Liam's typically alright, but extremely defensive of Chloe, often to excess. Man, what are you thinking? He began. Straight to the point. Chloe's a mess. Going out with her acquaintances. Seriously, Liam? I responded. Chloe presented me with a condition. Open relationship or she would not marry. I agreed to her deal. What is the concern? Yes, but an open setup does not mean targeting her whole circle. It's for discovering. If a reason appears, he sounded like he was repeating something. I challenged him. So, the reason only appears for her? I asked. And when it appears, who can she discover with strangers? My acquaintances. What's acceptable here, Liam? Because Chloe was quite unclear. He got annoyed. You're being difficult about this. She made an error. All right. She did not predict you'd go along like this. Then maybe she should not have issued a challenge she was not ready for me to embrace. I said, I'm simply following her outline. If she wants revisions, she knows how to speak to me. But currently, all I hear is that I'm the bad guy for accepting her terms. Liam grumbled something about me not being kind and making everything messy before ending the call. Apparently, being kind means letting her dictate terms while I obey without equal privilege. That mindset runs deep in that group. Chloe then shifted strategies. Emotions. When I arrived home from work on Friday, just ahead of my meet with Maya, she was on the couch weeping. I cannot believe you're truly going, she murmured, eyes red. Chloe, I said, sitting slightly apart. I'm honoring your stated needs. If you feel differently now about the open setup, you should express that. And if you do, we have to revisit what that means for the wedding because your terms were definite. But I do not want this, she sobbed. I do not want you seeing Maya or Sophie or Isabel. So, you wish to cancel the open deal? I asked. Yes. No, I'm confused, she wailed. I just don't want you to leave. That's not how things work, Chloe, I said, getting up. You created the rules. I'm staying within them. I'll return afterwards. And I walked away. Her face showed a mix of rage, grief, and sheer disbelief. The outing with Maya was pleasant. We enjoyed several cocktails. She confessed Chloe had been unpredictable recently and was stunned by the open deal, but also said Chloe had always been a bit of a chasing greener pastures person. Maya was engaging, simple to speak to. No intimacy occurred aside from a goodbye embrace, but it was an enjoyable outing. She did say Chloe is going to go ballistic when she finds out you really did this. I simply shrugged. Chloe was awake when I came back, arms folded, eyes glaring. So, how was your outing? She asked, voice dripping sarcasm. It was pleasant, I said, staying concise. Maya's good company. Did you sleep with her? Chloe. That's honestly not something I plan to get into detail about, just like I wouldn't ask you to describe your experiences. We said disclose if asked, but no inquisition. It was our first outing, just a drink, that's it. She looked like she might push further, but I simply headed to the bedroom. The mood was absolutely frigid. Saturday's dinner with Sophie is next. I suspect Chloe's efforts to kill this are only going to get more intense. She really figured she could enjoy both worlds without me even glancing at the options list. Update 3. Fallout and confrontations until today. Well, this saga keeps rolling and Chloe's sense of entitlement somehow got even worse. My evening out with Sophie Saturday went ahead like expected. Sophie's sharp and figured Chloe's strategy instantly. She thought you'd cave, right? Sophie said during appetizers. Chloe craves being wanted by everyone, but she expects you to be her safe, predictable fallback. Harsh, but spot on. Dinner went smoothly. Great dialogue. Again, nothing romantic, just enjoyable company. Sophie also revealed Chloe had called her earlier, trying to convince her to cancel, spinning a tale about how I was overreacting and being petty. Sophie, thankfully, told Chloe I'd been totally upfront and reminded her Chloe had started this open relationship idea. When I walked in Saturday night, Chloe was livid. This time, it wasn't just sad crying, it was rage. You're loving this, aren't you? She snapped. You're intentionally trying to disgrace me. Chloe, I'm literally just doing what you asked for, or more accurately, what you demanded as a prerequisite for our marriage, I replied, exhausted from going in circles. You pushed for open. This is what open looks like. If you preferred exclusivity, you should not have presented an ultimatum suggesting otherwise. But I want us, she sobbed. I want you. I blundered. A massive blunder. Can't you understand that? I understand that you attempted to control me, I said. And for the first time, my tone was sharp. You gave our relationship a death sentence, expecting me to beg you to stop. Instead, I said, all right, your choice. And now you're stunned that I'm actually going through with it. So that's all, she asked, voice trembling. You're just going to keep seeing my acquaintances. You're going to ruin our relationship and all my friendships just to prove a point. Our bond was already collapsing the moment you gave that ultimatum, Chloe. And your friendships seem intact. Maya and Sophie seemed totally aware of what's going on. They were more baffled by you. Then the big one landed. Her mom, Karen, perfect name honestly, phoned me Sunday afternoon. I had braced for it. I am very disappointed in you. My name, Karen began, voice full of judgment. Chloe is devastated. How could you parade different women around her, especially people she grew up with? Tarun, I answered, doing my best to stay composed. Chloe gave me an either-or choice, accept an open relationship or lose the wedding. I went with her terms. I am sticking to what she requested. But she did not mean it that way. Karen protested she was confused. Women often get nervous before weddings. You should have been mature, calmed her down. Not taken her seriously and started seeing her close friends. The gall. So, I should have just magically known her clear ultimatum was not real? And being mature means letting her create one-sided rules? Not happening, Karen. Chloe's a grown woman. She made her choices, and she's now facing grown-up outcomes. Karen snapped about how I was being childish and spiteful and ruining everything. She claimed Chloe now wants to end both the open relationship and wedding because I've broken trust by checks notes doing the exact thing Chloe required. The mental gymnastics are truly Olympic-worthy. Chloe herself has been bouncing between tearful regret, angry claims that I planned this entire mess to avoid the wedding, and frantic begging to just make it stop. She says she wants to close the open relationship. All right, I told her we can close it, but Chloe, your ultimatum isn't something I can erase. You were willing to kill our engagement over this so-called need. What if you feel uncertain again next time? She could not respond. Just more crying. My night out with Isabel is tomorrow, Tuesday. Isabel messaged me earlier. Heard there's drama galore. Still good for drinks. I'm packing popcorn. Figuratively, of course. I remain calm. But inside, part of me is over it. This was never a misunderstanding. This was a power play by Chloe expecting me to crumble. Her shock isn't about things being open. It's about me participating. The wedding is becoming less and less likely. Not because of openness, but because the trust is completely broken. She revealed her true intentions and they were awful. Final update, the aftermath settles. 1 month later. It's been chaotic, but I think it's time to finish this chapter properly for anyone following. My outing with Isabel happened. It was eye-opening. Isabel is incredibly direct. She basically confirmed what Sophie alluded to. Chloe has a pattern of this sort of thing. Pushing limits, chasing the unattainable, and assuming others will bend to her moods. Isabel did not soften her thoughts about Chloe's ultimatum, calling it insanely foolish and self-centered. We actually had a solid evening. No romance, just a raw and candid conversation. Isabel did mention she was amazed I matched Chloe's bluff so fully. Most men either panic or sulk, she noted. After that talk, I sat Chloe down. No more games, no more tears being the centerpiece. Chloe, I started this open relationship path. You said you wanted to close it. I agree. It's over. A glimmer of relief in her expression. But I continued, the issue is that you gave that ultimatum open relationship or no marriage. That's the deeper concern here. You were ready to toss away 5 years, our entire future over this need. And when I met it with action, your real problem was that I also engaged, not that your demand was harmful. She tried to cut in, but I did not expect you to. It doesn't matter what you intended me to do, Chloe. I calmly interrupted. It matters what you declared, what you insisted upon. You proved that you're ready to blow up our shared life out of impulse or manipulation. I cannot build a marriage on those terms. So yes, I told her the marriage is officially over this time. From my side, her reaction was intense. First shock, then fury. How dare I end things after she had been prepared to pardon me for my terrible actions? Her words pointing to me dating her acquaintances, which she demanded I could do. Then came the pleading, the pledges it would never repeat, that she understood her error. Her brother Liam attempted to step in again, insisting I was being dramatic, that all couples deal with odd tension and silly fights before weddings. I told him this was no nervous spat. This was a deep betrayal of faith and a demonstration of immense selfishness from Chloe. Even her mom phoned my mom trying to have her sway me. My mother, bless her, told Karen that I'm an adult capable of making choices and that based on what I'd said, Chloe had made her choices and now faced the outcome. The fallout for Chloe has been heavy. Maya and Sophie are absolutely distancing themselves from her. They each told me separately that Chloe tried to smear me, playing the victim, but they saw right through that. Isabel. Well, Isabel never sugarcoats anything and apparently told Chloe exactly how she viewed her behavior, and it wasn't flattering. So, Chloe's little strategy not only lost her the relationship, but also significantly damaged her circle. Good. That's the price when you treat people as tools. We're currently working on separating everything, canceling bookings, splitting items from the flat. Both of us are leaving. No chance I stay there. It's complicated and pricey, but honestly, every lost deposit is a small toll for avoiding that disaster. I've had moments of mourning for what I believed we had. A bit of frustration still remains, sure, but mostly relief and an odd calm. I didn't rage. I didn't plead. I simply respected her words, followed the outline she gave, and let things unravel. She sabotaged her own future. I am not planning to date right now. Certainly not any of Chloe's ex-friends. That was just a reaction, a way to reflect her own declared wishes. They all understood that. They got the situation. I'm putting my energy into myself, back to the gym, reuniting with old friends. Forward motion. Chloe, from what I hear, is miserable. She's apparently spreading the idea that I'm a cold, scheming villain who deceived her. Some of her distant friends might buy it. Her relatives, predictably, stand by her side, but the ones who were present, those who saw it firsthand or were involved, they know reality. She gambled, she failed. That's it. Appreciate being allowed to unload Reddit. It's been oddly healing to write it all down. Forward and onward, I guess.